Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This is the Cannabis Advisory Committee meeting at its usual time and place at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This meeting is going to be recorded by Zoom, and I think you all pretty much know the routine, but as I said, this is going to be audio and video recorded. Votes will be conducted by roll call. If for any of you who are attending, thank you for having your name up here at this point, just to make things easier. I will recognize participants, so just raise your hand. There's a little hand raise feature, or if that doesn't work, say Mr. Chairman, or flail your hands around like crazy. That'll catch my attention too somehow. And if you're not going to participate in anything and sitting on the sidelines, just please kindly mute yourself at times. Thank you. All right. So the nice part is I don't have to read through that dreaded script anymore. We can short-term things now. You have an agenda before you at this point, and I would take a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Joe, and do I hear a second? Jock, okay. And roll call vote, Joe Plandowski.
Here.
And Jacques Zemecki.
Here.
Abby D. Molina.
I'm here.
And the chair better be here too. I am here. I think so. Let me get in. So you've got some draft minutes before you at this point, and you're probably going to see some more coming along as we get through some things here at the moment. But I hope you've all had an opportunity to read them. If there's no errors or omissions or corrections that need to be taken at this point, unless you want to deal with each one of these individually, there's June 15th, November 16th, 2023, and then January 18th, 2024. If there's nothing that you want to discuss on that, I would take a motion to approve those minutes. By Joe, and do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Abby. Roll call vote on that. Mr. Plandowski?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Jacques?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well, too. Thank you, everyone. Public comment, Mr. Berger. Good afternoon, sir. And we also have Kelly Emery joining us as well, too. So, Dan, you wanted a moment to chat with us there?
Just always happy to say hello to everybody, and always happy to have these meetings. Yeah, actually have some updates relating to the island specifically, and I bounced this over to Barry, but at last Thursday's Cannabis Control Commission meeting, they had island transportation on the agenda. So there was a pretty robust discussion there, lots of interesting facts that came up. Definitely would point people who are interested to watch that. And there was a resulting vote actually where now all establishments on both islands will get priority review for really anything that has to go before the commission to sort of try to help shore up the supply chains on the island. So I won't speak too much on what might be happening to some specific businesses out there that may have led to this, but it's all out there, and I definitely suggest some people dig into this. But yeah, happy to be here and happy to, see things moving forward. So thank you as always.
Thank you. Yeah, Joe?
There was an article that I passed around for Martha's Vineyard where they want to get cannabis to Martha's Vineyard because they don't have enough product. It looks like Martha's Vineyard might be the first island to get approval.
It sounded like that based on the article and the fact that the one dispensary they have, I think they said it's going to close in September. And so they were
Yes.
worried about the 270 or so people who are receiving medical marijuana. They need an option. And so I think, Dan, that's part of what kind of precipitated the discussion, correct?
I believe so. Of course, the option is they could come to Nantucket.
Well, in the summer they could, but we
Yes,
don't have the Island Ferry year round.
I
so-
know. I know. You have to stock up.
We all good? Dan, did you have something?
Well, just to Abby's point through the chair, I definitely would point to that discussion because they definitely address sort of all of the contingencies for the folks out there. And it was news to me as well, and I'm pretty dialed in right on Nantucket, but I was not aware that there was only one registered medical dispensary out on the vineyard, which is sort of leading to this. And that's where I think, the approach they've taken with the islands is sort of the blanket approach for both. So that's where now, there's priority review for both. So hopefully that does help, folks like myself, though, who are trying to get things going on the island to help at least move that through the state process. But on that note, though, and yeah, the federal regulated waters, unfortunately, you can't bring cannabis on the boat right now. So even as a medical patient, you unfortunately can't hop over to Nantucket.
But here's the problem with that statement you made. It's being done in Alaska to the islands, and it's being done in Hawaii. So it's being done right now.
Mhm.
Do we know if the waters are considered the same, Joe?
From the article I read, yes, they are. And nobody's taking any action. They're sort of closing their eyes to what's happening in those two separate locations. It was my opinion of what I read.
Mhm. Yeah.
That would say Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket should be in the same category.
Mhm. Okay. Kelly, did you have something you wanted to ask or
Do
comment
we
on?
know how many med patients are on Nantucket? I think you said 270 for Martha's Vineyard.
I think that was
The ma-
derived from the article that came out.
Yes, it was 8, something like that. It was right around that number.
Yeah, but I on here on Nantucket, I couldn't even begin to tell you at this point.
Problem is it's seasonal here, so it's going to be up and down.
Right. Okay. Anything else on public comment? All right, let's move on. So, election of officers, I know I keep putting this off, but anyways, there's an election coming up shortly, and that may dictate a whole bunch of different things in terms of who's going to be on this committee and who remains on. Because Dawn is one of the key factors there at this point. What else did I want to say? Anyways, so if you don't mind, I just want to table that at least till next month, if you're all good. Not seeing anyone saying no. And as for reappointments, I need to have a little further dialogue with town administration on that because I'm a little fuzzy right now about what's going on. I know at a minimum we haven't heard from. Let's see, did I put this on here? So, anyways, the Board of Health person is appointed by that particular board. Not for lack of reaching out to the person who's supposed to be on our committee, which is Jim Cooper, and then also having tried to deal with Roberto in the past to get something, nothing much has come out of it. So I really need to have a really proper discussion with Libby on that one. The other person who we've been missing for a while is Dorothy Hertz, and I think we all know the background story with her, and we kind of wanted to give her some latitude, and I know she's still working through some things. Just as a side note, just always try to keep her in your thoughts and prayers, please. But anyways, we're gonna need to discuss with town administration as well, because I hear there's some people who have put in committee interest forms in, and I think this would be it, at least for the one position. I'm trusting that the four of you are all still good with this. Jock, myself, and Joe.
With you, Barry?
What?
We
Huh?
come to the meetings, hang out with you. I feel like, in all seriousness, if someone has expressed interest and they'll attend the meetings, because I don't think people aren't attending because they're not interested. They're probably just really busy or whatever. So if someone
Yeah.
has more bandwidth, I think it would be great to have just like a larger group of people engaged, right?
I agree. I agree with that. But yeah, it's just although we're missing two people, it's on two very different pathways that we have to kind of address that. And one very clearly has to be addressed through town administration. Joe?
Reappointments. I think our terms expire in another month and a half.
They do now, and here's where I'm a little fuzzy again. If you remember last year, they basically told the pre-existing members who have been showing up, which is the four of us, and Dawn, not to worry about things. Now, Abby's a little different, Dawn's a little bit different because they have, and Jim Cooper from the Board of Health, all three of them have appointing agencies that go through a different process under which that happens. So that's it. I feel like I'm missing someone, but I don't know why at the moment. Dorothy.
There are only
Yeah,
two
I'm
that
sorry,
are
I'm sorry.
missing.
What's that?
There are only two missing. Jim
Right, two
Cooper
missing
and
out of the
Dorothy.
seven.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So I got I picked up an email from Erica on that as well too that I need to address. Unfortunately, I didn't get in until late last night and still haven't had an opportunity to thoroughly vet through it, but I'll be chatting with her. If something does come up though with us, outside of dealing with this in the meeting, I will let you all know by way of email what the heck's going on, and then we'll put it on the agenda anyways for the next meeting, just so it's officially there. But I will be dialoguing with you individually outside of this meeting, depending upon what emerges out of that.
It should be set up in a staggered way so that there's some continuity. Because the way it's set up right now, all of us are kicked out at the end of June.
Yeah.
All,
Yeah,
I
let
mean,
me,
all.
well, not all. No.
If you look at the town listing, it has 2024 as the expiration for all of us.
Right, correct.
So
But I
we'll
don't know
we'll be unemployed, Barry, on the street. This will be terrible.
So Abby, if what you said is true at this point, you just like hanging out because I'm here at the moment. I guess I'm obligated to have my first
Well-
round. We all get kicked out, right?
I'm not
I'd gladly
employed,
do that
but
for you guys
Cannabis
anyways. Bro.
advice. This is voluntary for me, Joe. I don't know if you're getting paid. That's great. I am not. But also,
Yeah.
I do think, I mean, my term for planning, I don't think ends until next year. So I could at least, Barry, if you wanted, be reappointed, I believe.
Yeah, I got to look at the terms for the three board appointed people that are out there, just to see where that's at as well.
Look, you can
But
get rid of all the troublemakers, Barry, in another month.
there you go. There's one down. Oh, do me a favor, keep making trouble, you guys. I love you all. I love you. No, this is I'm just going to say as a sidebar, and I know it's recorded. I don't care. You're really a great group to work with, and I really appreciate you all being here at this point. And it's a lot. It's a lot because I know each one of you is a busy person. And so your attendance here is so much appreciated. And I love the fact too that you all bring different perspectives. You're not afraid to speak your mind, and it's done in a very civil manner as well. So boy, I don't think you could ask for better with group dynamics with that. All right, let me stop opining. Anyways, I'll let you know where we're at with that once the election's over, and then we can kind of pick things back up from there and see where we're at. if there's nothing else on that, you all got the DEA thing about rescheduling cannabis to Schedule 3. I hope you all saw that and dialed into it. The hyperlink is active and works on that page as well too. So the thing is, just real quickly, what I'm going to say is, so yeah, it's getting rescheduled to Schedule 3. Big deal. It certainly is better than Schedule 1, but it's still a controlled substance. And that brings us through a whole litany of things, just from my background in pharmacy, knowing how that is addressed. I am baffled and clueless right now about how that actually works in the realm of the DEA. Unless the DEA, and I haven't seen this, I'm trying to think if I have seen it. I mean, for pharmaceuticals and stuff, the regulations are really very, very tight. In terms of just from beginning to end in the process. So for this, I don't know what that's going to look like. And I think there's going to be more discussions that are going to have to take place with it. Joe?
Yeah, what I was going to say is I did pass out an article that I found that was after the announcement that it was being switched. And then you look at the time frame. The time frame has got to be at least 6 months and up to 6 years. And you'll read this article and you say, what? It's got a long way to go. Plus, it's got the potential for lawsuits when that's all done. So this could drag out. This certainly will drag out at least minimum 6 months.
Oh, I agree. And if what we were just saying holds true for other things, the election this year
Yes.
will begin to dictate where that goes, depending upon whether things stay the same or whether there's a new president and whatever cabinet comes in underneath it. Yeah, I think 6 months to a year is a very reasonable estimate before anything moves ahead with this. So
I thought when I saw the headline at first, I thought, whoa, this is just going to get signed off by the end of the week. And then about a week later, there was a follow-on article that said, hang on to your hat because you got a long way to go.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the moment I saw it went to Schedule 3, that again, like I said, just with my background, it was no surprise at all that as much as it looks like it's monumental, it really isn't because of the regulatory aspects associated with still scheduling medications. The best that I think they could do, there's one product that's out there, which is really, I'll digress for a minute here. There's one product that's really interesting out there, pseudoephedrine, the old-fashioned Sudafed that we all know and loved, which is in a variety of other cold meds like Claritin D and stuff like that. That was close to be, because pseudoephedrine is a wonderful baseline molecule where you get ephedrine from, and ephedrine all of a sudden can be converted into a variety of really fun drugs over time, including crystal meth. Welcome to Breaking Bad. Anyways, what they did with that was just to use an idea that everything was behind the counter. It's a registry system. You have to basically electronically, or some places use old manuals, but you still have to sign for it. You have to show an ID. There's certain limitations on how much you can use. And boy, when I look at the pseudoephedrine thing, there's the perfect fit for the cannabis thing. So we're still suffering from the old-fashioned marijuana type thing happening out there at this point, and that's why we want to put it in controlled substance. So hopefully smarter minds will prevail with this over time. But I agree with you, Joe. I'd say 6 months to a year, and probably closer to a year.
There is a Tylenol product that is Schedule 3 that I heard
Tylenol
about.
codeine.
Oh, with codeine. Okay.
Yeah, there's the magic at this point, and it's really funny. Just real quickly, codeine is considered a Schedule 2. which
Oh,
puts it into the whole morphine type, hydromorphone family of drugs. But the moment you add Tylenol to it, it becomes Schedule 3 because now you can't take as much because you'll go toxic on the Tylenol. And Schedule 3 is a lot more forgiving than Schedule 2 in terms of how you administer it. So, anyways, sorry to digress. You had your pharmacy lesson for the day. You're all certified as techs now. Okay. Anything else on the DEA thing?
no.
I really, what's been going on with the Cannabis Control Commission, I think you've pretty much got a good handle on that at this point, both from what Dan said earlier about the potential for the supply chain issues coming up, even though we have more than one facility out here, we've actually got a few things going on that some which are done, some which could easily have the trigger pulled on them. So my first impression was when I looked at the whole idea of supply chain, it was like, first I was really interested and wanted to jump on board, and now I'm thinking because we have more than one facility, we may just want to throttle back and see where it goes to. And if it looks like it's successful, then maybe latch onto it from there. But hopefully they will consider us when we get to that stage of them whatever they do at the vineyard. But just keep that on your radar. If you see anything, again, just send it out to the group. I think this is just one of those, we track it, and then kind of see where it goes to from there. And if we need to, we can ask to co-join on afterwards.
Are we going to come up with new agreements for these two on island?
Yeah, that's going to be part of now that we're, again, too many things up in the air. Town meeting became its own beast. So I really haven't had an opportunity to chat with Libby yet. And now with the election looming over our head just as quickly, that issue needs to be settled. And then I think we can have some fruitful discussions.
Meanwhile, we are delinquent because March 1, we were supposed to have this all done.
What's
the new agreement?
Yeah, but no one's called us on the carpet yet. I would probably dare say that there's other towns and cities that are probably reticent as well too. I can't believe we're the only outlier out there. And it's not like we're moving ahead with it. It's that we're aware of it. We will move ahead with it, but like everything, it may not be within their time frame, But we will get it done. Rest assured, we will get it done. Anything else? I'm sorry.
They're going, this Cannabis Control Commission is going to have a new executive director. They apparently are down to the final two, from what I understand. It'll be interesting to see. That's a big organization. They got several hundred people working in that organization.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna sorry, I'm just making some quick notes here. I think I sent out to you all the new revised agenda protocol that the town wanted to adopt. So hopefully you've all had an opportunity to read through that. I don't know if there's much to comment on it yet. Very good. You get a little star on a cookie. No, you have it right in your hands. I love it. I love it. I wasn't trying to be rude or facetious there. That's great that you've got that right in front of your fingertips. I trust you've all had an opportunity to read through it. Is there anything that you need to comment on that? It's not much to comment on, but yeah. Joe, I'm going to fulfill this time frame. Is there anything that you all need to, from the commissioners? Is there anything you'll need to chat about above and beyond? I don't think there's really much that I hear of that's going on at the moment.
I think the reappointments is the big thing
Yeah,
for today. Next
I
meeting
agree.
will be different.
Yep. That's on my to-do list. It's my honey-do list. But like I said, the moment I find out anything, I know we're outside. It will definitely be outside of this meeting, but anything that I'll let you know what comes out of it. Some way, shape, form, or another. I'll let you know what comes out of it. I'm hopeful that for those of us who are active and on this board, that we won't necessarily have to reapply. They'll just re-up us. And then we'll seek at least one new candidate. We may have a new select board person. I'm not going to say anything. And then,
That's true. That's true.
Yep. And then realistically, the Board of Health is its own issue at the moment. So, but that's again, that'll be a chat with town administration, see what their thoughts are.
It will be interesting to see what the list looks like of candidates who would like to be on this committee.
Yeah, I have until I got an email yesterday, I haven't heard anything, and geez, I know the rest of you are just as interested as I am, but I would love to have been dialed into knowing this kind of thing.
We
But hey,
will know it shortly because it'll be in the
Correct.
select board minutes.
Yes, it will. The all the candidates will be there.
Yep.
So anyways. All right. Anything else?
No.
No. Okay, this is your opportunity. All right. Well, next month will start making us busy again as we get into things. There's quite a few things.
Perhaps we could hear from Dan on any progress that he's made with his delivery option here and the social gathering option.
Sure. If you want, it's up to you, Mr. Berger.
You know I love to talk, so thanks for giving me the opportunity. I tried to spare you, but we'll get out of here before 2 still. But through the chair, right? No, but thank you. There were a couple things I wanted to just say as well. On the vineyard, there's going to be a joint Cannabis Control Commission meeting, I guess, on the vineyard. So whether they might want to also come out to these meetings that might be happening on Nantucket, I'm not sure. I have some contacts at the commission. They're definitely aware of what's happening, and they're aware of sort of the nuances now between the vineyard and Nantucket too. But when it comes to my delivery, happy to say my car that got rear-ended at a red light finally got fixed yesterday. So yeah, when Murphy's Law truly applies in every way, shape, and form to me. So that's yeah. But luckily though, that once the commission reviews that all of our security stuff works, we get the thumbs up for our commence operations for the delivery operator up in Salem. And then from there, I have been busy trying to work on the courier license still, and it does have some implications on the island, but I'll just say at the very least, again, this is probably a 6-month process for me. So I don't know if this season is the season, but we'll see. But I'm definitely still busy trying to get something going. Social consumption as well. Last I checked, the petition is out there, and I think there were 6 or 7 pages signed back to back of folks on the island looking to support. So I don't know the exact math, but I think the threshold was around 750 to 800 people to sign that, to get that to, and we'd have the filing deadline, I think sometime in August. And ideally, hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers and toes crossed over here and praying to every higher power I know that these meetings might go well on the island, and maybe we'll be able to wrap our heads around social consumption and avoid having to file that petition. But at the very least, I'm trying to get the word out and try to rally some troops. And I just appreciate you all with the patience you've shown me, the professionalism, and for even asking, Joe. So thank you.
I do have a comment to make regarding courier services. In the last week, a courier was hauling $423,000 and was stuck up. This is dangerous stuff.
So, if I may, through the chair, just to
Yeah.
differentiate, and that headline was slightly inaccurate where they said it was a courier. That was actually a transporter. So essentially, there are 3 different licenses you can get. You can get the delivery operator, you can wholesale product, deliver to consumers, get the courier, where you're delivering for brick and mortar dispensaries. And then there's the transporter license, where you can warehouse and have product and make deliveries for business to business. You can also transport cash. So they were transporting cash from, I believe it was out on the Cape, and there was apparently maybe an inside man as well. So this is where this just smacks of me with all of my thorough SOPs where, we have to make sure we're on our P's and Q's. But this is where this speaks to that federal change, right? Where this is long overdue. And ideally, if there's a bright side out of this, whether it's 6 months, a year down the line, if we can get that banking reform so we can make cash deposits, that'll be a game changer. But that also, I'd say, would speak to the level of security that they make us put in our vehicles, because if you can either get a Brinks truck to transport your, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or you could use a vehicle outfitted to transport cannabis in the Commonwealth, I think that says how much they make us do. But I digress too, and let's get out of here before 2. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just going to be real quick because the flip side of that is, again, let me just go back to the pharmacy for a moment. We got all of our controlled substances delivered by Cape Cod Express in totes that had really nothing more than a set of Ziploc ties and a plastic bag inside that was sealed. Okay, not much to get through. And now the beautiful part was these totes didn't look like the rest of the totes. They were slightly, they had a different color and stuff. So if you're really smart, you could have hit the Cape Cod Express and you know exactly what to go for. And what can I say?
They would be an easy target.
It is an incredibly easy target, but I raise that point just so that you can see that there's different accountability standards that are out there. So, anything is vulnerable, no matter how much security you put in place. So sometimes the best is to do not much of anything.
That was the first robbery I saw in a year. I have not seen any others in Massachusetts, but I imagine there have been some.
Oh, I'm sure. Sometimes they just make a headline.
Yep, that one made the headline. Got my attention. $423,000 in a van.
Not chump change. No. Hey, Dan, if you don't mind me picking on you for a sec before we go, just the social consumption thing. The petition that you're running goes to the Cannabis Control Commission? Just so I'm clear about it.
So the petition I pulled was through the Secretary of the Commonwealth Election Division. And what I would have to do is, once we get those signatures, I file it with the town clerk. They certify them. I believe it has to be 30 days before that election. So if we want it on the November ballot, yeah. And honestly, I think that timeline's a little tough, and that's why I tried to be proactive about it, because I believe as a result, if the votes are certified,
Right.
ballot groups are made for both sides of the question. So yes or no in support. I believe that there's a mechanism where there will be groups to be able to speak on that, similar to other initiatives. So I could be butchering this, but yeah. So essentially, though, have until August to file that. We're trying to be proactive and hopefully get that in sooner than later. But ideally, this is just another thing. I hope when these public meetings happen, I'll stand up with my petition and say, hey, we have X amount of people who are supportive of at least these changes. And I think, are very sympathetic to hopefully, looking at least at what the bylaws are looking like on the island.
Yeah.
But hopefully that answers your question. And of course,
It does. That's okay. I was trying to figure out the flow and what the terminal aspect of it was before it goes yay or nay. So okay, that helps to understand that.
Hey, well, and ideally we won't need it, right? And that's where, I think to the work we've been doing and the patience you've all been showing me. Truly, I hope we've been able to do the legwork over the last year to hopefully at least give some people some information and be able to make some decisions here. So that's all I've been trying to do. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So besides it passing through the ballot, if let's say the ballot approved it at this point, the Cannabis Control Commission would be like, fine, make it happen, right?
They have no
Or is
say
there
on
a
it.
whole other? Go ahead.
So right now, social consumption is codified in Massachusetts General Law, Chapter
That's
94G, that houses all of the cannabis regulations. The
Yeah.
Cannabis Control Commission, right? Yeah, they're just the enacting body where they promulgate the regulations in adherence to the legislative mandates. So all of the social consumption language and where I found out about the mechanism, it's actually in Chapter 94G, Section 3, local control. I
Right,
believe.
so,
Yeah.
sorry.
So that's where all the
it's-
language is. Yeah.
With it approved by the, okay, so that's where I was a little hazy at the moment. But again, I'm sorry, it's just been a whirlwind few weeks here. I'm not as focused as I'd like to be lately at the moment. So with that happening, if the town were to say yes, then the Cannabis Control Commission is like, yeah, you're good to go. However, you still need to submit your license and stuff for all that. And that's the other layer that sits there.
Yeah, and this is where really just say the timeline. So say we get this ballot initiative in November, the voters of Nantucket vote yes. Basically, that will have to go, I believe, to the select board or the, whatever body to enact those laws on the local level. So there will still have to be local bylaws surrounding social consumption written.
Correct.
Those would have to, I don't think they would have to get voted on at that point because in that section 94G, section 3, city councils, select boards, they actually have the power within themselves right now to enact social consumption on a local level without getting it before voters. So if you have a sympathetic administration, you're able to opt in. And this is where this is all it is. It's just opting in, really. We're saying, yes, social consumption establishments can operate in this municipality. Still, though, like myself, we get this going and Nantucket is a yes, and we have all that. I would still have to go through the host community agreement process, the special permit process, state application process, et cetera, et cetera. And here I am 4 years later on my delivery license. So let me tell you, it doesn't happen overnight. So yeah. Hopefully though that is, and I think I have it pretty well laid out and up there. So hopefully that helps illuminate that for you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Unless you want to hang out for a bit, I'll take a motion to adjourn so we can all get on with our life.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Right. Sorry, I just need 1 minute here. All right, Joe, to
Aye.
adjourn. Abby,
Aye.
Jacques. That's a yes. Sorry. I think he froze. Jacques?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. And
That's okay.
the chair votes aye. Let me just, he disappeared. Kelly dropped off. He wanted to get back in, but the only thing he would have watched us do is all faded to the distance here. Anyways, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. We'll see you in a month's worth of time. And if there anything comes up, I will certainly keep you apprised of the situation. Thank you.
I know.
Have a great day,
Thanks.
everyone.
Two.
Thank you all
Bye,
as
guys.
always.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.